It all started with a house. Not just any house, but one that would rip open the last threads holding this fractured family together. Cody Brown, out of nowhere, handed over a brand new home to Aurora Robin's daughter and his adopted child without telling anyone. Not Christine, not Janelle, not even Robin herself. And for a family already scarred by years of secrecy, favoritism, and financial drama, this wasn't just another bad decision, it was a declaration. A final, painful confirmation of what the other wives had been warning about for years. Cody's priorities had shifted long ago, and this time, there was no pretending otherwise. Hey friends, I'm Sarah, and welcome back to TLC Sister Wives Recap. If you're as stunned as the rest of us, hit that subscribe button and tell me in the comments you see this coming. Because I didn't. Not like this. Now, here's where it gets really raw. Robin, yes, Robin, the wife, Cody's, bent over backward to protect, was blindsided. The house was purchased and put under Aurora's name without a single conversation. It wasn't a family decision. It wasn't even a marital one. Cody did it alone. And it wasn't just the secrecy. It was the symbolism. Robin watched her husband make a massive financial decision for their daughter without her. Her face said it all. Not anger, not even sadness, just shock. Like something had snapped. And the betrayal didn't stop there. When Christine and Janelle found out, it wasn't through a phone call or family meeting. It was through the grapevine. The man who refused to help his own sons with basic needs suddenly gifting a whole house, with family funds, with zero accountability. It felt like a slap in the face. Even Aurora, the quietest of the bunch, was confused. Her voice shook when she asked Cody why. Because underneath the gift, there were strings, legal ones. Strings that made her realize this wasn't about love, it was about control, about image, about Cody trying to rewrite the story that was already unraveling. And that's where the storm really began. Robin never expected to feel this alone. For years, she had been Cody's priority, the one he defended, the one he protected, the one he poured his time, attention, and resources into. This time, even Robin couldn't hide from the truth. Cody had made a life-altering decision behind her back. He bought Aurora a house, signed the paperwork, and placed it under her name without telling Robin a word. No warning, no conversation, just a quiet signature and a set of keys. And that silence, that secrecy, it broke something in her. At first, she tried to rationalize it. Cody must have had a reason. Maybe it was meant as a surprise. But when she confronted him, when her voice cracked and her hands trembled, he didn't offer comfort. He didn't apologize. He stood in their rental's hallway and simply said she needed it. That was it. No plan, no unity. Just another impulsive move in a long line of choices that Robin never signed off on. And that's when Robin started unraveling. She began pacing the house, talking to herself under her breath. She'd look over her shoulder like someone was watching, even though the cameras were long gone. She called Aurora, again and again. No answer. Days passed. Then weeks. Robin left voicemails pleading, begging, whispering in a cracked voice that the soup was still warm. Please, sweetheart, let me in. Your siblings miss you. But the reply came through an intercom. Cold, flat. I need space. Robin's heart broke right there at the security gate. The same daughter she spent years shielding, sheltering, homeschooling, defending, now locking her out, literally and emotionally. It brought her back to Vegas, back to when Christine walked away, to the night Mary left for good. Robin had always thought she was different, that she was the one who'd never lose Cody, that their home was immune to the fallout. But now, with Aurora gone silent and Cody barely home, the walls started closing. She was surrounded by unopened bills, past due notices, and empty rooms. And for the first time, Robin realized the truth. The family was gone. And this time, there was no Christine to rally, no Mary to take the fall, no Janelle to blame. It was just her, the silence, and a daughter who had finally stopped answering. Aurora wanted to believe it was real. The house, the gesture, the sudden freedom. For a moment, she let herself feel its peaceful walls, her name on a deed, no TLC cameras following her from room to room, no siblings crying, no whispers in the hallway, just quiet, clean hers. But that calm didn't last. Because buried deep in the closing folder, tucked away in the fine print, was a clause, a single line that changed everything. If Aurora sold the house within 5 years, ownership would legally revert back to Cody. It was like the floor shifted beneath her. Suddenly, the house wasn't a gift, it was a leash, a silent condition. And the more she thought about it, the clearer it became. Cody hadn't given her a home. He'd given her a cage wrapped in a bow. His way of saying, "You can have independence, but only if it's on my terms." It hit hard. For years, Aurora had been the quiet one, the peacemaker, the daughter who never challenged the chaos. But this time, it wasn't just about family tension, it was about her identity, her autonomy. And she realized she'd been caught in something much bigger than she ever asked for. She began to see it all differently. The long conversations Cody used to have with her behind closed doors. The way he praised her for being loyal. The way Robin constantly hovered, driving her, managing her schedule, making every decision in the name of protection. But protection had become confinement. And this house, it wasn't a fresh start. It was just the next chapter of a story she never got to write for herself. And so Aurora started pulling away. She stopped replying to texts. She changed the gate code. When Robin showed up unannounced, she didn't open the door. When Cody called, she let it ring. Something in her had shifted. The fog had lifted. She wasn't just Cody's daughter anymore, a Robin's reflection. She was Aurora. And for the first time, she wanted to figure out who that really meant, without their scripts, without their guilt, and without any hidden strings attached. The envelope was plain. No stamp, no return address. Just her name, Maura, Alice Brown, written in careful block letters. It had been left quietly on her front step, slipped past the gate. At first, she thought it was just another piece of junk mail, or maybe a late notice from somewhere. But the name in the corner, faintly embossed into the paper inside, made her blood run cold. David Jessup, the man she had been taught to fear, the man she believed had abandoned her. Her hands shook as she opened it. The letter was simple, handwritten, and raw. David didn't pretend to be a hero. He didn't beg for forgiveness or ask for anything at all. He wrote only one truth. He had never left her. He said he had been pushed out, shut down, cut off by legal processes he wasn't even allowed to fight. "I never gave up my rights," the letter read. "I was told the adoption was already done. The judge never heard my side. The church helped make it disappear, and Cody stepped in before I could stop it." It was like being dropped into cold water. All her life, Aurora had been told the same story. David was unstable. He'd left when she was just a child. Cody had saved her. He stepped up, loved her, adopted her. But now, with every word of this letter, that version of her life cracked. And then came the most devastating line: "If you want answers, meet me, Sunday, Holbrook, alone." Aurora sat there in silence, clutching the page, her mind spinning. What if everything she believed had been carefully constructed? What if Cody didn't adopt her out of love but out of fear? What if Robin helped erase a man who had simply been pushed aside? Her memories didn't match up anymore. The stories Robin told her, the things Cody repeated over the years, now they felt rehearsed, convenient, and above all controlling. This wasn't just about a house anymore. It was about the very foundation of who she was. And for the first time in her life, Aurora wasn't sure if the name she carried, the story she was told, or the parents she trusted were ever truly hers. To begin with, Christine knew something didn't sit right. She'd always been sharp, watching, listening, catching the little things Cody tried to slide past the rest of them. And when a paralegal friend in Flagstaff reached out with a tip, Cody's name showing up on a strange new deed filing, she felt that old, familiar knot in her stomach. It wasn't in his name directly. No, it was filed under one of Robin's kids. She picked up the phone and called Janelle immediately. Within hours, the two were hunched over a kitchen table surrounded by documents, messages, screenshots, and property records. One address was in Aurora's name, another linked to Dayton, then Brianna, and the money trails. Slippery, inconsistent, and suspiciously timed right after each marital split. It didn't take long to realize what was happening. Cody had been quietly transferring marital assets, land funds, possibly even trust money into the names of Robin's children, and he did it all without telling anyone. Janelle was livid. "We built that trust fund together. That was family money. Our kids' futures," she said, her voice low and shaking. Christine just nodded, flipping through another file. "He's laundering our legacy." It wasn't just shady, it was wrong. And possibly criminal. They knew this wasn't about property anymore. It was about control. about punishment, about Cody trying to keep one foot in the door of a family he'd already burned down, using real estate as leverage, using children's names as shields. And the worst part, Robin knew, maybe not every detail, but enough to keep quiet and let it happen. The decision came quickly. They hired a lawyer, not just for advice, but for war. The civil lawsuit demanded everything: a full audit of all Brown family trust accounts, a halt to any ongoing property transfers involving minors, and restitution for assets Cody funneled into Aurora's home. The legal team called it what it was: fraud. And when Cody opened that letter, his name on the envelope, the lawsuit spelled out in black and white, he didn't see accountability. He saw betrayal. "She's turning them all against me," he snapped at Robin. But this time, there was no spinning it. Christine and Janelle weren't angry exes. They were plaintiffs. And the courtroom wasn't about feelings. It was about facts. Aurora sat in her lawyer's office, staring at the envelope like it might explode. Inside were the results of a DNA test she'd taken in secret, something she hadn't told Robin, Cody, or even her siblings about. It was the last thread, the final piece she needed to understand whether her life had been a story someone else wrote, or a truth she could finally reclaim for herself. Her lawyer offered to read the results aloud, but Aurora just nodded, holding her breath. Aurora Alice Brown and David Preston Jessup have a 99.998% paternity match. Her heart stopped. The paper slipped from her fingers. It was real. David was her biological father. Everything Cody and Robin had told her about abandonment, about safety, about the need for adoption, it all fractured in that moment. It wasn't just a lie of omission. It was a full rewriting of her identity. Her past hadn't been protected. It had been erased. And as Aurora sat stunned in silence, across town, something else surfaced. Mary had been helping Christine and Janelle organize evidence for the lawsuit when she found a dusty old laptop tucked away in storage from their Vegas days. Inside, a forgotten audio file. A private conversation Cody never thought would see daylight. She clicked play. Cody's voice, raw and reckless, filled the room. "I'll never lose Robin if I can keep Aurora close. She's the glue. If she goes, Robin collapses. She's not a daughter. She's the insurance policy." Mary's face froze. Christine's eyes welled up. Janelle's jaw tightened. They had known Cody used manipulation. They had seen him prioritize control over care. But hearing it that he viewed Aurora not as a person, not as his daughter, but as a tool to hold on to Robin was the final straw. It wasn't love. It was strategy. And Aurora had been the pawn. All three women sat there, stunned but furious. The betrayal ran deeper than they ever imagined. This wasn't just emotional damage. It was generational. And now, with the lawsuit in motion and the truth finally laid bare, they had no intention of staying quiet. This time, the receipts were undeniable, and Cody couldn't gaslight his way out of a recording at midnight. Aurora stood barefoot in the grass outside the house that had once felt like a gift but now felt more like a trap. The stucco walls glowed under the moonlight, and the summer air in Flagstaff clung heavy to her skin. In one hand, she held the property deed, now amended to remove Cody's reversion clause. In the other, the DNA results proving Jessup was her biological father. Her phone buzzed softly in her pocket, but she ignored it. Tonight wasn't about anyone else. It was about her. She opened a message thread with Robin. Her fingers trembled, but her words were clear. "Please respect my space. I need time. I need distance. I need to find out who I am without you two in my life." Then, she sent a separate text to Cody. "Thank you for the house, but I am not your redemption story. I'm not your glue. I am Aurora Alice Brown, and I belong to myself." And with that, she blocked them both. The very next day, Robin received a certified letter at her rental home, her name printed formally across the front. Inside, a notice from Aurora's attorney. Effective immediately, all parental rights, legal, medical, and financial, were revoked. Robin was not to contact Aurora, not to interfere, not to attempt visitation. Robin collapsed to the floor, the letter in her hands, mascara streaked down her face. Her baby girl, her shadow, her constant, was gone, not just physically, but legally, permanently. Cody, meanwhile, was unraveling. TLC had released a statement, distancing themselves from the ongoing lawsuit. Privately, the network had already canceled Cody's proposed spin-off. Word was out. The patriarch was no longer the centerpiece, he was the cautionary tale. And Aurora, she stood quietly, calmly, and publicly, posting a single message on Instagram Live. No makeup, no filters, just her voice. I'm not here for anyone's closure, not to heal anyone's guilt. I'm here for myself. My name is Aurora Alice Brown, and I choose me. And with that, she closed the chapter Cody had written and started her own